We're happy to play host today for a topic that's near and dear to our heart, really. For those of you that are not familiar with Clive, we are the largest provider of inpatient psych really in the state of Iowa, and we are the only freestanding psych facility in the Des Moines metro. We're about 5 years old, so a lot of these issues with the workforce and with the nurse shortage really predate COVID, but we started at a time that really exacerbated a lot of those existing issues. So we're very familiar with the strain that it puts on the facility, ultimately affecting the quality of care we're able to provide to our patients, and the number of beds we can have available for those that need help. So we're very excited to host today and hear about this Train More Nurses Act and how it can help us look at the pipeline and make sure that we're incentivizing the right things to make sure that we're getting enough nurses coming out, both RN and LPN, so that we can take care of patients. So really with that, I'll introduce Congressman Nunn to talk about the Train More Nurses Act.
Kevin, thank you very much, brother. Appreciate it. Well, first I want to just invite the Clive team up here. You've got a great source of resources here for the Des Moines area, not only as a 24/7 facility, as a psychiatric facility, and also part of the larger Mercy One program. Together, we have identified just the real challenge that there is in nursing, and I know many of you are practitioners in this space. In fact, being an RN, you've gone through it. My family is built on nurses. Both my mother, my aunts, my uncles have all served as nurses. Being able to serve in a community, particularly in a rural community, it really depends on those frontline individuals who are helping serve. Whether it's OBGYNs at the start of life, or whether it's aftercare, particularly towards the end of life, but particularly in all phases here in Iowa, we have seen a real challenge. So let's talk about that challenge. The Association of Nurses highlighted the fact that in recent years, we've had 100,000 nurses shortfall across our country. In fact, 70% of nursing positions continue to be underserved or being requested. That means that across Iowa, we have seen far too many hospitals, both in urban settings, like right down here at Mercy One, all the way out to our rural county hospitals, who dramatically need a larger workforce. But the challenge isn't the workforce alone. It is the sticking point of getting enough nurses trained. In fact, most of our nursing facilities today, including those nurses who are on the front line here in Iowa, are at age 50 or over. And that's a real challenge for the next generation. To be able to fill that gap that is following them requires that we have a plan of action to make sure that we've got nursing staff as well as nursing capacity going forward. Which is why I'm proud to be leading with teams here in Iowa. Good recommendations that came from the Iowa Hospital Association, including leadership by Mercy One. Train More Nurses Act. It's a bipartisan bill to be able to identify key ways that we can get more nurses onto critical floors and in critical need within our community. Specifically here, we're talking about the ability to make sure that we have more clinical practitioners who can help train the next generation of nurses. These are nurses who have served at least 10 years in their professional field, and now we're looking at the opportunity, particularly those 50 and over, who want to go back and continue to be on the front line of helping our healthcare needs across our community by getting them back into the classroom so that more nurses can move forward. We also want to look at an expedited way for LPNs to be able to become RNs, registered nurses, and making sure that we've got the training facilities to ensure that they can be successful. Equally, we are requesting that the Health and Human Services, as well as the Office of Labor Management under the Department of Labor, move forward in ways that help us evaluate at the ground root level ways to get more nurses in. So this would help prioritize our rural hospitals. And this builds on much of the work that we've done, including things like putting $50 billion towards rural hospitals so they can continue to be successful going forward in the legislation that we passed this summer, as well as my legislation to Help Moms Act to make sure that we have more OBGYNs and the nursing facilities available in our rural communities so they can be successful. Now, I'd like to speak specifically to some of the things we're seeing here in Clive. Both the success that Mercy One and the Clive Clinic here have provided depend on a nursing staff that is here not only 24/7, but also has the ability to access some of the best nursing capacity within the country. Whether that is through our traditional nursing schools, as well as our partnerships with our 4 years and 2 year schools, I want to make sure that Iowa's best practices really become some of the best practices for the country. And that's what this Train More Nurses Act does. 3 tangible ways in a bipartisan way to help create a strong, sustainable workforce for that next generation of healthcare in Iowa. With that, I want to make sure that the Clive team gets to talk a little bit about things that they've done. Guys, if you want to introduce yourself and just share where your area of expertise here is, we'll start off with the intake side. The director, feel free.
Hi, my name's Tristan Potraz. I am the director of intake. I know that as far as nursing goes, we have to have somebody in our facility in intake 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And sometimes the shortages that happen in our departments, especially with nursing, makes it tougher for me to staff my facility in my department.
Yeah, absolutely. And filling our 24/7 role is one of our RNs who's doing this. Do you want to share a little bit about how you got into this process?
Sure. My name is Kendra, and I'm one of the RNs here in the intake department. I've been with Clive for about a year now. My background is ER, and in the intake department, we kind of run as an ER. And
Yeah, that's wonderful.
yeah.
Thanks, Kendra. Appreciate it. Doc, you're leading the charge here.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Sasha Kostrawi. I'm the Chief Medical Officer here at Clive, and also I'm a pediatric psychiatrist. I've served in the community for approximately 2 decades, and we've done a lot of nice things as far as our growth and helping the capacity to serve our population here in the state of Iowa, including building this beautiful facility and creating a residency program too that's enabled more psychiatrists to be in the community. But obviously, nurses are, I think, the true heartbeat of any hospital. They're with the patients basically all the time, catering, obviously taking care, communicating. So I rely a lot on the nursing staff here. They truly do a lot of work that's tremendously important for the healing of our patients here. So this act, I think, this bill potentially would really help bring more consistency, more workforce for us to be able to take care of our patients here.
Thanks, Sasha. Thanks. So, as Kevin has highlighted, as we are working together on this, this is a great boon not only for our community here in Iowa, but an incredibly essential part of making sure that we're taking care of the healthcare. I know with 6 kiddos, our visits to the ER, it's the nurse who's helping them make sure that they not only are healed, but feel the emotional success that they've had. For folks, whether it's mental health or whether it's critical frontline health, having a nurse on the floor is one of the best ways to not only drive down healthcare risks for the patient, but also ensure that we have successful communities marching forward.